Yeah, well, last time I speak with the old man, he invited me to come up in New York.
What year this was?
This was in 1978, 79, 78. No, 79. What happened was what he did was he gave my wife the first trip. She went up there. She went up there in New York, there, him and Leola. And I can remember the two. What happened also was after he did pay me that visit, the first visit, his wife came down in Nassau, and she was living with Charles and Jane, and that was the first time I met her too. I met Miss Leola, and when she came down here to Charles, and she encouraged that Aldrin should come up there to New York, spend some time with them, and Aldrin did went up there. Aldrin did went up there and spend some time with Daddy and Leola, which was they were nice persons. Leola, in fact, very nice. And because Charles and Jane, they usually were always going up there. And they would always go up there, and the old man used to pay their way up and buy their tickets and so forth like that. And yeah, and Aldrin went up there, and then the next time I went up there, and it was really about the latter part of 70, which was like for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I spent Thanksgiving with him, and that was great. It was very good.
So where did he live?
They live in Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York, 445 Green Avenue. Oh, yeah.
So you say he lived in Brooklyn, New York?
Yeah, he lived in Brooklyn, New York, in a nice apartment. In fact, at the time, you know, he had an apartment like 3 floors.
Oh, okay.
He had 3 floor section apartment, which was his own.
Brownstone apartment.
Huh?
Brownstone store.
Yeah, Brownstone apartment.
How many did he have? I also was told that he had two separate apartments.
He only had one when I boys went up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they had 3 floors. Like the basement he was living like in the basement rent the section. But below the basement, that was where like they keep the boilers, the hot water heaters and so forth.
Oh, so I know you went down there to look at how that looked.
Yeah, I went down to take a look and see how that was set up. And it was small setup, like stay running off gas, you see. Gas, and it has a thermostat, which it could shift from one side to the next, to the other side. But in other words, I mean, if it didn't get cold, it heats up the place.
Oh, okay.
You see?
I want to get hot and cool down.
Cool down.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's the way it was set up.
So when you went to New York to him in Brooklyn, how did he treat you in terms of where did he take you?
Oh man, it was great. I enjoyed myself. He was so, you know, I think I even get to like him even better than more than it's not, you know. I didn't have no grudge against my dad, you know. You know, like say, well, some kids would say, hey man, I know this man, and so forth like that. And you know, before I met him, that's what I used to say. After I got to meet him, you know, and we got so close. Maybe because I didn't really was that close with him.
So he wasn't close to any of his children, eh? Because he's always away.
Well, to me, you know, when I look back and when I think and saw how Charlie reaction.
Because I heard Charlie had issues with him.
Yeah, Charlie had a very serious issue with him. You know, and I when I look back to it and really think about it, you know, So I used to say too, maybe if that's my mommy, and my daddy admired my mommy, and that's his reaction, I might feel that way too,
Mm.
because Charlie really had a serious issue with that. Um, well, when I went up there, when they gave me that trip up there, I enjoyed myself very well, and Leola did the same.
So did he introduce you to
And the children,
his stepchildren and stuff like that?
yeah, and all the grandchildren and everything. I mean, hey Charlie, where you was? You know, they knew me for years, and I knew them for years.
Yeah.
Just met them, but they were happy family.
Mm.
And then he introduced me to some of his sister children.
Okay.
Yeah, and at first I didn't even. I said, Daddy, you sure these your people? He said, yeah. Their mother's a white woman,
Bright skin.
very bright, and they were living uptown, and we down in Brooklyn. I think they was over in what other place name over there? I forget it. Towards Hudson River there. Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Not Detroit.
Or Jersey?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, living in New Jersey area. They were living in New Jersey.
So it's like a big family union. His sisters, them who immigrated to the United States, came down.
Well, not direct. Because he was living in New York, and majority of his sisters was down in Florida area.
Okay.
Most of his family lived in Florida.
Mm.
And, but he was some of his sister children. And they were Blanche was one of them.
Yeah, Blanche Major.
Yeah. They came down here to Uncle Cecil. And that's how I get to met them. But
Okay.
if I see them again, I
Wouldn't recognize.
No.
Especially how they have children now, and children have children.
And they're looking like me now.
Mm-hmm. Getting old.
Old.
Getting old.
Yeah. Yeah, they get old and everything. But it was very nice. And after that, I went up there a few times. Well,
Oh, you went back again to New York and visit?
I went back to New York a couple of times. When I went back, I think the second time, that's when he did get this other apartment on the other side.
Okay.
Second apartment.
So,
He's
what-
a braggy fella,
Yeah.
He's hard, he say.
So what type of work was he doing?
He was a bricklayer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he used to lay brick. And the lights, they got him, when he say when he was a young fella, he used to be bricklayer. And he worked for Rockefeller, or I think his name was.
Hmm.
He used to be Rockefeller, that was building all them buildings in New York there. And he went working, work for this particular company, the same Rockefeller company, but they used to go to, different sections. So they made him, he was one of the leading supervisors.
Mm.
Said, he ain't got to be going climbing that height. The only thing is just go check the project out, check the buildings and check the project or whatever work they have to do. He used to have to be going from job to job like that. And you got to be working, climbing them heights,
Mm.
skyscrapers and there.
So was he still working when you went to visit him?
Yeah, he was still working. My first trip too, I remember that my first trip he was still working. Second trip, not quite. I think he was on retirement then. But he still used to go out in the morning. I used to go I remember I went out there a few times with Roy. That was Anna Mae, husband. That's Leola's daughter, husband.
Okay.
And they call him Roy. Aiken.
Aiken, yeah.
And I used to ride. Well, what happened was that he was supposed to do the same job, but he can't be moving around. But Roy was like a man carrying materials to different jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to ride with him.
Okay. Keep you occupied and entertained.
Yeah, well, but he going from job to job, which in New York, they like a person who know where they're going and know the areas and so forth. So Roy was one of the specialties in that. He had a nice big long truck, or bus, I think it was. He carried different materials in different areas. But I enjoyed it. I spent over 3 weeks there.
You stayed that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
New York.
Oh, okay.
You see, because like I said, early in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
around 5 o'clock, man, riding up waiting for you to go.
Yeah.
Because he got to get to these jobs, you see.
Hmm.
You know, all over the place, New Jersey, back, come across mainland, go across the river, and all kind of place. You know, and he had me, I mean, look at their boilers, and there's some big, there's the first set of big boilers I ever seen in my life.
Mm.
Way down in the basement. You know, they had shooting steam all the way up to the top. Hot water, in fact, not directly steam, but keeping them place hot in there. Yeah, I spent out of it. Well, most of the time, too, I went, and I went late in the summer one time. But most of the time, I used to go, like, for Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
I enjoyed myself while I was there. We had Raymond and so forth. My last trip was up there when, was after the old man died.
Okay, moment
And,
for that.